Yo, yo, yo. Is that you, player? Coming across the Himalaya? Or is that just me and Rob? Bruh, Migos podcast back with our weekly episode. And this week, did Pat Riley see the free agent hoes coming across the horizon? Here they come in free agency, Rob. The Chiefs, 9-9 on the three-peat because they didn't make it a full three. They didn't get that win. WWE, Jey Uso showing what you get when you mean it and more. All coming this week. Bruh Migos podcast. And what we got to do, Rob?
Okay. We just got to hit that music, my brother.
4, 3, 2, 1, go.
What up, though?
Let's start it off. Chiefs. My Chiefs.
The Chiefs. His
Didn't
Chiefs.
make it. Didn't make
Did
it.
not.
No, we didn't make it. We didn't get the three-peat. It was a 2.99. We couldn't get the win.
To sundown ass whooping.
They got us though. They got us. It was a crazy game. They beat us. Pat fought to the end though. Heart of a champion.
He did.
Fought to the end.
Threw a bomb to Xavier Worthy, dog.
Bomb.
I was like, damn, that look. It was a pretty win. Like, I absolutely love when Patrick Mahomes reaches back and just flings that motherfucker and basically put that shit on a dot to fucking Xavier Worthy. That absolutely was the most meaningless bomb that you have ever seen in your entire life outside of The Last Airbender.
It was beautiful though. It was beautiful. Shots at The Last Airbender because that shit was a bomb. But you know, the Chiefs fought till the end. The Eagles, they get the win. Congratulations to them. They got bragging rights for the season. All of the Eagles fans got bragging rights for the season. They're loving it. They love it. Jalen Hurts won MVP, but there may be a little controversy with that. But like you said, though, Rob, the Chiefs, they got WrestleMania 6, dog.
Man.
They got fucked up like Hogan in WrestleMania 6, dog. And for all of you who don't know, Hulk Hogan was there in WrestleMania 6, and Ultimate Warrior took over. He went out there. He beat Hogan. It was the two mega superpowers at that time in the WWE, and they clashed, and they took down the guy who had been there. He was the man for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
They got him up out of here. What did you really think, Rob? What went through your mind watching us get our ass whooped?
Oh, man. I mean, it was where, like, Patrick Mahomes was in a nightmare, like in an absolute nightmare, because nothing that he could do basically to get comfortable in the pocket could happen. Granted, I would say that Andy Reid, similar to the Tampa Bay game, just did not adjust to where basically more things were at the line of scrimmage, where it was a little bit more deception, that they basically could get maybe out in space. It seemed like everything was Patrick Mahomes, rear back, and fling that motherfucker. And that was the only strategy that they wanted to go with. Couldn't get the run going, couldn't get really anything going till really the fourth quarter. And by that time, everything was already solidified in place. It was so bad. And like Nate said, this was WrestleMania 6 all over again. This was the incumbent, which the colors are the same with Hulk Hogan and the Chiefs, and like basically the incumbent champion who had been running roughshod over everybody for so many years, being the dude to everyone for so many years. And like you had this really powerful up and comer who they really weren't up and coming, but you know what I mean. Like they were so powerful, so strong, so unbreakable, and basically they came up and put the 2.99 peat in the fucking record books and basically stopped the whole three-peat. Like they basically made it to where it was a fucking beatdown. Now,
Yes,
granted,
it was.
WrestleMania Warrior versus Hogan wasn't as much of a beatdown as this, but it was a very much changing of the guard. This Eagles team looked very formidable, even though I would say the Chiefs, they look like they could be back there next year. Like they still have their team. They still got a lot of great players, both on both sides of the ball. Hopefully they basically get more healthy so they can bring some of the guys back. But yeah, when it comes to this team, the Eagles, and how the fuck they beat the dog shit. I'm trying not to curse. I'm sorry, audience, but they beat the dog shit. There's no really other way to put it. They beat it was a sun up to sundown ass whooping,
Yes,
and
it
just
was.
beat the Chiefs down. And yeah, it was bad. It was real bad.
Yeah, you had some things go wrong. They didn't have a guard. You had people out of place on the line for Kansas City. You didn't have all your offensive weapons. You still to see how Rashid Rice is going to be dealt with. Sky Moore wasn't there. McCall Hardman wasn't there. But I do think the Chiefs will be back there next year. And even though I feel like they'll be back, I have to touch upon what's going on with the Eagles right now, because the Eagles have a little bit of deception in the camp after winning a Super Bowl.
Teensy bit.
And I'm going to start with A.J. Brown's comments now. And the reason that this is concerning to me is this. A.J. Brown, he already came out above the Super Bowl high already.
Man.
It ain't been that long.
It's been a week, really.
And I want to quote from the New York Post. After a few days, I've had time to reflect on being a champion. I tried to feel how everyone made it seem to be a champion, and unfortunately, it was lived short. 2 days to be exact. He wrote, I've never been a champion at the highest level before, but I thought my hard work would be justified by winning it all. It wasn't. What Brown said, what really excites him is the drive to be great and continue to win on the field. So even though the season has been over for less than a week, he's ready to get back out there. Something wrong with that man, Rob, because I'll still be riding Super Bowl, huh?
You got to savor it, dog. Like, you did something that so many other players weren't able to do. Great players that were not able to basically accomplish. And you like, man, been there, done that. It's like, I don't think it's going to set in for him until it's ring night and he basically see that thing on his finger and be like, oh shit, I really did that. Because he did. He scored a touchdown in the game. You know, he was one of the best players on the field that basically made things happen for that Eagles team. That basically helped, you know, Jalen Hurts win the Super Bowl MVP, and we're going to get back to that in a little second. But no, A.J. Brown, man, look, or anybody, I understand basically wanting to move on, but you got to savor it. Be happy for the time that you're in, and basically make sure that you're being happy within it, because once it's gone, it's gone. And that feeling, you can't really get it back. You might be able to reminisce it, but it's not going to feel the same. But just enjoy the today, and tomorrow's going to come. And that's what I can give you from Migos podcast. I don't even want to make it like the more you know, but you know, just that's what it is.
Yeah, and with AJ saying that, I look at it two ways. I look at it as he hasn't let it really set in, like you said, ring night. It'll probably really set in for him. He'll be like, "Shit, this is my shit. Let's do this." We really did that. And the other thing is, I can understand him wanting to have his drive out there. I can understand him wanting to keep pushing, wanting to keep doing this thing, and it's all fair. I understand. Some guys do get they get the thrill of the hunt. They love the thrill of the hunt, and the thrill of the hunt is what really gets them going. And then once they get it, they're like, okay, I can't wait to do this again, you know. But with a little bit more deceptive remarks, Josh Sweat said he feels that he should be MVP of that Super Bowl. Rob, we looked at some numbers, and we did see, apart from him, Von Miller was the last defensive person who had an MVP. And with that being said, we know that Von Miller had some very good stats. And to be exact, what did we say? He was missing the 2 fumbles, the 2 forced fumbles.
Yeah, the forced fumbles, yeah.
Yeah, that Von Miller did to get an MVP. So I can maybe see where he's going with this, okay?
Right.
2.5 sacks. He hit the quarterback a lot. He had a great deal of solo tackles. He did what he needed to do. But I'll say this. I can understand why Jalen Hurts got MVP. Yeah. Jalen Hurts didn't have a bad game. What I think that Sweat doesn't see is whenever Von Miller won that game, Peyton Manning didn't have a great game. And it was the Broncos defense that stopped Cam Newton, and Cam Newton not jumping on the ball and feeling defeated during the game. That's what made sure that they won that Super Bowl against Carolina. But his quarterback, Jalen Hurts, didn't have a horrible game. Like they did. That's two different things. And I think he needs to realize that part of what was going on. And I think if he realizes that, Josh Sweater see, hey, I did a heap, but I didn't have the performance that my quarterback had, or I didn't do quite enough. Because I will say this. If he forces 2 or 3 fumbles, I might have to say, all right, bro, you got a really good case for
right
a defensive person winning this. But without the forced fumbles, I can see it not going his way and them giving it to Jalen Hurts, which he deserves his MVP. But I can see that this may not be the best attitude-wise for the locker room, but me and you discussed it earlier. They do have a lot of depth, even if they can't bring back guys. They got guys who were coming on last year that didn't play this year. They'll get a chance depending upon who goes, who stays, and their salary cap, because they don't have a lot of salary cap. But we'll see how this works out. What you think? What do you think about what he said?
No, I mean, I understand him basically being a competitor and wanting to essentially say like, hey, I was out there too. I basically must make this shit happen. And I feel like I'm deserving of that, because sometimes they will give it to the defensive player because of what the defense itself was doing. But nah, man, Jalen Hurts was the MVP. I would vote Jalen Hurts as a Super Bowl MVP. I understand where he's coming from, but I can't say that I agree.
Yeah, I can't either. Now to more the subject at hand with the Pat Riley. What did you see out there that we ain't seeing over here in free agency, bro? You must see something over there in free agency. Because I'll say this. The trade with Jimmy Butler going to the Warriors has definitely sparked something in the Warriors. It has definitely, and it sparked something in Steph, and being that they just can't double Steph now all the time. Steph has been getting his buckets off. Jimmy's been getting his buckets off. This is a very good look for the Warriors right now. But for Miami, Pat, what did you see? What have you seen? As my co-host Rob said, did you see the holes on the horizon, the free agent?
Did you see the holes on the horizon? Is that what happened here?
And with that being said, I'm going to rattle off a few guys who have player options and some guys who are going to be free agents this season. And I want you to tell me what you think could possibly happen. And I'm going to start with James Harden.
Right.
He's a big name vet, has a player option. Do you think that Pat Riley would want to pull an older vet into Miami right now?
I would say yes, because he's already had the precedent of doing that, a la Kyle Lowry. And I don't think Harden is as bad as what, I won't say bad, but what Kyle Lowry was. Granted, this is a guy that's basically going to be entering his 16th year. He does have the player option. So if he wants to basically leave LA, that'd be on him. But it's the point of Pat Riley has been wanting to get James Harden for the very longest. He's been wanting to get James Harden, Giannis, Kevin Durant, all these guys for the very much longest. And this would be the biggest chance that he would be able to. So if he could basically somehow convince, in the ways that they do, convince him basically to leave, I mean, it couldn't hurt, and that seemingly is like one of the pieces that he would want to go get.
Okay, another big name vet, Kyrie Irving. Still got plenty of juice left in the tank. Do you think he would be able to be wooed away from Dallas, seeing that Anthony Davis is there? He's hurt, but he's there. The other prominent big man in Daniel Gafford, them having Max Christie. Do you think he would be able to woo a Kyrie Irving into not taking his player option and coming to somewhere like Miami to play with like a Bam and a Wiggins and everybody else?
I would say it's possible. And the reason why I say that is that, does Kyrie want to basically revert back to point guard Kyrie? Because somebody's going to have to. It's like what they had in Why Do I Love My Wife? Or what's that Tyler Perry joint? I think no. Whatever. But whatever Janet Jackson's like, who doing the bending? Like, who's going to basically doing the point? I don't even put it like that. But it's like, who's going to basically do the point guard between him and Hero? So is if Hero basically decides like, hey, I'm going to be that guard that's going to be controlling the offense, am I going to basically, or is it going to be Kyrie basically doing that, or is Hero going, I don't know, like maybe Hero gets pushed to the 3, Wiggins gets pushed to the 4 or something like that. Like it just basically who is going to be the person, who's going to be the main guard that's going to be controlling this offense. Kyrie can do it. Like Kyrie, you just got to basically, you got to tell Kyrie like, hey, we want you to do this. But can he basically be convinced to do that? I believe so. And can he be convinced to basically go away from Dallas to basically go to the Heat? It depends on what Anthony Davis basically becomes, and like, is he going to be the guy that is he going to basically stay healthy? And I don't know. And maybe he might be thinking like, I could be with Bam and Tyler Hero, would say Andrew Wiggins and whoever basically he might bring in, or I could go stay over here, and just kind of be with this team. And yeah, so I would say, short story long, no, man, Kyrie, I think he can do it, and I think there's a good possibility he would.
Yeah, I do see that Kyrie maybe could be seeing South Beach. South Beach is a nice place. Nice place to be, great weather, a lot of the time, the women out there and whatnot.
Mm-hmm.
I could maybe see Kyrie being there and then maybe pushing Hero to the 2. I don't know. It could be a lot of different things that could happen, but as of right now, with what's currently going on, I think Kyrie might take his option. He might let it play out in Dallas, see what happens. Him, Gafford, a healthy AD, Clay, Max Christie. That's a team that could really make some noise. It could really make some noise. I really do feel like if Dallas is healthy, they can make a lot of noise. Now, this free agent says that he's going to stay in Los Angeles, in La La Land, and that being LeBron James. Okay. Now, do I think LeBron is going to leave LA in free agency? No. Do I think he's going to stay a Laker? Yes. If you ask me to bet the house on it, would I? No. And the reason I wouldn't bet the house is because of what happened in Miami. Okay? LeBron is a person to me that he is NBA fickle. If he feels like he gets slighted at any point, that he will up and leave a team and does not care because he's like, somebody's going to pick me up. I'm going to land somewhere. But I will say this. With the addition of Luka, I don't see him just leaving Luka there. And it's so hard to see LA just say, nah, if LeBron leave, we're okay. I do understand that they are trying to future-proof for whenever LeBron leaves, and it's Luka. It's going to be Luka's team, because that's clearly what it's going to be now. It's going to be Luka's team. I'm curious to see what else they can put around him. That's what I want to see. That's literally what I want to see. I want to see what else they can put around him and do this. Do you even think LeBron would even think about leaving the Lakers?
Yes and no. And the reason why I say yes and no is because I see it happening, period. Like everything that you pointed out is what I 100% agree with. He's fickle. And you ain't gonna really know until we get there. And basically he's, saying that he resigns with the Lakers. But it's also to the point of the Lakers are going to want, for one, they got to re-sign Luka, but two, they got to basically do a bunch of things. Like, how much do they want to push into a 41-year-old LeBron James?
Yeah.
How much do they want to allot the cap to a 41 LeBron James? And granted, it's 41, it's year 23 LeBron James, but how much do they want to do that? And basically, because they still got to fill out the rest of this team. And if Pat Riley is looking on the horizon to basically see where the holes are, the Lakers probably are too. And so if they're doing that, then the Lakers are basically like, we got to go get Miles Turner. We got to go get a Naz Reid. We might have to go get a Kyrie Irving. We might have to go get whatever. We're going to have to basically fill out this roster with some guys. And so is LeBron going to basically do that or be somebody that we can rely on to do that? Like, I don't know. And that's going to be the biggest question.
I'm going to still leave this out here. And I know it's going to be a lot of people who say this is a snowball chance in hell saying this. The option for him to still wind up to play with Steph one time in his career, even if it's only for a year, it's still out there on the option. Because
dog.
this is what I'm gonna say, and like I said, snowball chances in hell. But I'm gonna say this: if they could work it, if he took an option, if he opted out, and let's say instead of for 40 or 50, he took 30 in Golden State. Him, Draymond, Jimmy, Steph. Okay? You're only missing a big now. That's all you missing. And it would be the one time he could go out there and say, hey, Steph, we both got 4. Let's make a push for 5. And they would legit have a chance at doing it. Because it would be enough, it would be enough star power to muster through a season and win in the playoffs. Now, granted, your Achilles heels are Steph's defense, Draymond's inability to score, okay, and you'd have how much can LeBron give me in the tank? And the biggest ostrich, well, the biggest elephant in the room to me would be, who are we gonna put on Jokic? If we play Denver, who are we gonna put on Jokic? And the way I've been looking at Denver play, Denver has been an offensive juggernaut against people right now. Could we score enough to keep up with Denver, and could we play enough defense?
See, but here's what you're talking about here, though. Year 23 LeBron. Year, was it 17 Steph? Let's see. Yeah, year 17 Steph. Year 15 Butler. Year 14 Draymond.
Yeah,
that's a lot to basically put and true. Basically have your whole team basically be distributed to just those niggas, because you really can't have anybody after that.
This is true, but I just want to say so. Did we have Luka and AD being swapped on the 2025 NBA bingo card?
I ain't saying that it ain't possible. I'm just saying it ain't reasonable. And what I mean reasonable is both in salary cap considerations and basically just logic, just biological logic.
To quote my boy from the Boondocks, okay, Rummy, there are known knowns, unknown knowns, and unknown unknowns. Okay,
you don't know
shit
what you don't know.
We don't know that we don't know, and we don't know if they doing some shit that we don't know, that they don't know, that we don't know. So with that being said, this could easily go ass up at some point during the off season. Now, with the name of Miles Turner being called, yes, you're right. He is a free agent this summer. He's only one of 5 players who averages at least 1.5 3-pointers with 1.5 blocks a game, okay? He is clearly a candidate as a big man out there that would fit with the Lakers because it would allow them to play inside out, have a big that shoots threes, block shots alongside a LeBron and a Luka. Question is, how much money are you going to have to pay Miles Turner?
Right.
Because I want to say Miles Turner is still 27, 28 years old. He's due some money. He's going to be due some type of money. He's not going to be cheap. I think right now he's making 20 something like that. He's getting paid. So will you be able to find enough money to get him in there if you're the Lakers? Because you know that luxury tax is quite the, it's quite the one. And right now, right now I'm looking it up. This is making $19.9 right now. So you'd probably have to still come in at somewhere around $20 million.
At least.
To get him. So you'd have to go find $20 million in cap space to get Miles Turner, which might be possible. It might be possible. It might be. LeBron might take a little bit less. Luka is going to get less because now he's not getting $300 million on a contract. So it might work. It might work. Other notable free agents to me, Karis LeVert, Cam Thomas, really young guy, and Brooklyn. But it's 2 more that I want to cover. One is Jonathan Kuminga. Will the Warriors give him some money to stay?
Should. They got his bird rights, so they can exceed the cap when it comes to that. But
Yes.
yeah, I mean, I don't know, because the thing is, it seems like they've been very back and forth on how they want to do with him. He's been a project for like 4-5 years. Seem like it's like I don't think they have a great plan for him or with him, and that's the kind of shitty thing about all that.
Yeah, he is up in the air to me. And I know I said 2 players, but it's one other one that I'm gonna add to that list. The first one I'm gonna speak on is Chris Middleton. If I'm Chris Middleton, I don't know how I feel about how Milwaukee got rid of my ass and got back out. Because Kyle Kuzma, he has shown me one thing, that he is one of the most erratic up and down NBA players that I've ever watched play. And this shit became even more apparent to me watching him playing for Milwaukee. Because he is good for 15 tonight. And then he might be good for 2 tomorrow night. He is so... I don't know what he wants to be at 29 years old. I don't know what he thinks he knows what he wants to be. Now, granted, he's had double digits the past 5 games, okay? But his shooting percentage is 30, 38, 66, 41. And then he's 12, 13, 21, 19. I thought that he would be a little bit more consistent, saying that he's playing in there with Giannis. Giannis is a big attention drawer. He's now like the 3rd option, you can say, behind Dame and Giannis. I thought that he'd maybe thrive a little bit more, which he has done good. He has done good. But how good can he be? I don't know. He's a question mark guy to me because he's still in his prime, 29. I feel like he got some time left. He's just so up and down. I don't know what he's going to be. Okay. The last guy on the list for me, Julius Randle. I don't know if Julius Randle knows if Julius Randle wants to be in Minnesota. Julius Randle reminds me of a guy in Marshawn Lynch, who right now he's showing up to the games. I'm just here so I don't get fined right now. And I will say this. Knicks, y'all might have pulled off one of the best swaps that you ever could have made, because you took Minnesota from being on the cusp of an NBA Finals last year to being a 7th seed right now in the NBA. And I'm pretty sure if you would have told Minnesota that the fall off from trading Cat for Julius Randle and DiVincenzo was going to be falling from the cusp of an NBA Finals in top 3 last year to being the 7th seed this year with almost the exact same like roster except for swapping Cat for 2 other people, Minnesota would have told you there's no way that we're going to fall off that. And yet, they kind of sinking. It's bad, Rob. It's bad. And now, if I'm Minnesota, I will turn and look at Rudy and point fingers. And usually I don't point fingers. But this is your fault. Because nobody wants your ass. Nobody wants you. You're a liability on the perimeter on defense. You're not a straight up shot blocker. You're a weak side shot blocker. You come over, get help, get blocks and stuff. And your offensive capabilities are very limited. Okay? I think that the Knicks have won this trade. And it shows. The Knicks are number 3 seed. I think last year they were 4, 5, 6, somewhere around there is where they finished. This year, number 3. And they did that last year without Julius Randle. And who do they have? A healthy big man now. And the Knicks made off like thieves in the night. They offered, and I hate to say this, they told y'all that y'all was swapping gold for gold. Okay? And in reality, the Knicks gave you 2 gold-plated silver bars. Okay? And you thought you was getting gold back. Matter of fact, I think silver actually is worth a little bit more than gold right now, so that might be a bad one. Either way, they got over on y'all. You've been hoodwinked. You've been bamboozled. You've been run amok. You've damn sure been led astray. Okay? Because I know that the name of the game was try to free up this cap room. But I'd be damned if you thought that the fall off was going to be this bad. What do you think, Rob? Do you think the Knicks won that one? I feel like the Knicks won that trade.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, I honestly, it's still, because my point is basically with Cat is like it's still to be seen as far as how this man is going to be in the playoffs. He's been great this season. He's been absolutely great, doing all the right things, saying all the right things, all that. When it's going to come to postseason, is he going to basically revert to old Cat? Is he going to revert to Minnesota Cat where this nigga's nowhere to be seen? He is not playing winning basketball. He is not helping this team actually, succeed in the playoffs. Is he going to basically revert to that? So that's where it's like, is he going to basically be that when we basically get down to nut cutting time?
So we're gonna wait to pass judgment whenever the playoffs get here.
Yeah, because Julius Randle hasn't been the guy either for Minnesota, but I'm like, what is Cat gonna do when it's really that time? That's when I'm like, okay. And usually and I would say that's contradictory for everything that I've been kind of saying. Because like I said, he's been playing great in the regular season, but the biggest indictment to Cat is that once he basically gets to winning basketball and needs to be winning basketball, he is nowhere to be seen. I'd wait for that.
But we'll try to reserve this till that time, but it's not looking good to me. It's not looking good.
But speaking of basketball, I want to ask you something.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to put this on the poll for everybody on YouTube, on our Bro Migos YouTube page for Bro Migos. Is basketball do they have the best energy of any sport? So and here's what I mean by that. So like think about when it comes to basketball, like when it's a tight game, it's fourth quarter, you see, point guard or whoever bring the ball up the court slowly, whether it's college, NBA, you hear the fans going, defense. Like, when you hear that shit happening, is there anything like in sports that basically can match that? Because I mean, like when it's a tight game in baseball and say it's like, 2 outs, bottom of the ninth, and you got the crowd on their feet, especially if it's a home crowd that basically, is right there and everybody's hype like that. You might have that energy that's there. You could have like, say, football where it's like a tight game, say it's on the goal line and crowds is really up there. Like hockey, I can't really speak on y'all own beast. But the thing but for like baseball, football, and basketball, I don't think it's really much matching when the crowd is really hype and it's hot and everything is like down to the wire and all the pressure and everything is like on the fucking court. Everything is center stage to the basketball players right there. And it's like, you got to make a play. You got to do something. I don't think there's anything that matches that energy in sports. And that's why I want to ask you, bro, like, can you think of anything that basically is the same for that?
No. I feel like basketball probably has the best high energy, especially, I'll say this. Basketball has it because the energy can be there over the span of like, I've listened and watched the energy be over a span of like 10 minutes of just defense, push, fast breaks, alley-oops, making scores, everything else. And I feel like football has more of a build to it. Things have to happen and trigger the next thing and the next thing and the next thing. And then it builds to that really high energy moment. And then if it happens, like the roof blows off the place. And then depending upon what has to happen on the other side of the ball, it's either still up there for a minute until something else happens. And then, they'll kind of kill off. And also, I'll say this. Basketball has the most, I'll call it shut your mouth moments where players will do something and stick a dagger in the team and they'll kill the energy of a home team. Whereas I feel like football, being the home team, the energy is always on your side. It's always. Yeah. But I've watched teams in basketball hit a three, hit a dagger, and they just take all of the wind out of the building. Or if a team is getting blown out, they'll leave. And I don't really remember too many teams being at home for football and people just abandoning them like early.
Right.
I don't know, but it'll happen in basketball. If they get their ass beat by like 30 or 40, they'll be like, you know what? We're gonna go ahead and beat traffic, get nobody. We're gonna go ahead and get up out of here early. But I will say this, thinking of that, it makes me think of one moment in time. Two moments in basketball. The Reggie Miller comeback against the Knicks. That's one. And the T-Mac 8 points in 30 seconds. Those two basketball moments show you that anything that can go wrong will go wrong.
Yes.
And it can be such just a chain of events, and you will say, what the fuck happened?
Right.
And the reason I use those two is because what happened with the Reggie Miller thing, that I want to say was an Anthony Mason turnover. Let me tell you something. I think Pat Riley was the coach of those teams. I know Pat went to the back. It was either Pat or Jeff Van Gundy. They went to the back and probably went crawfish red and then passed out on the floor after that. How the hell we let him win with 8 seconds left? Because they said people were leaving the arena at the time and then people were stopping outside the gates to watch the TVs because Reggie and them were just getting it. And then Reggie wins this game. And the T-Mac 8 points in 30 seconds. I know Greg Popovich probably went in the back, and if there was a chalkboard back there, he probably jumped up like Sandy Cheeks and karate chopped that sucker in half, and then just walked off. And he was like, I don't know how he did it to me, because that's another one where the 3-point, the foul, and it's like, what's happening?
Right.
Like, dude, what's going on?
Right.
Why is everything melting right now? Why is everything melting? It shouldn't be doing this. And it's that type of moment, and you're like, we shouldn't be falling apart. We shouldn't be falling apart. And you fall apart and you lose. And then it's like, we lost. This is what happened. There's no and it's that book of explanations that you're looking to pull out and say, this is the reason we lost. And at the end, there's just one explanation left, and it was like, that motherfucker's just that good. He did it to us, and it's like, this one right here, this explanation right here, he just did it to us right at the end, and there's nothing that we can do about it.
Basically.
And that's what Reggie and T-Mac did in those moments. And those are those moments where in basketball, I feel like the energy is the highest because you have one of the most famous moments that played on the Gatorade commercial for years, and they still bring it up. The Michael Jordan shot over Craig Elo.
Bulls win! Bulls win! Bulls win!
That soundbite is everywhere. People use that soundbite. I've heard many of Twitch users use that soundbite. Gatorade has made more money at the expense of Craig Elo's. If I was Craig Elo, I'd probably be in therapy, and I'd probably sue Gatorade and make them pay for my therapy, because it's no way in hell that you'd have made that much money off of this man shooting this shot over the top of my goddamn head. And for years. Just, yeah. I'd probably be in therapy like, yeah, my name's Craig Elo. Yeah, no, I've been suffering for the past 30 some odd years because Michael Jordan shot a shot over the top of my head, and I still haven't recovered for the past like 37 years. I got to deal with it on Gatorade commercials. It's random people yelling Bulls win whenever I walk down the street. And I've never quite recovered from this at this point in my life, and that's probably how it would be if I was Craig Elo sitting in therapy. I'd just be like, you know, still trying to get over this. Still trying to get over it. So yeah, I think basketball is probably the most high energy. But you know what else gives us energy though, Rob?
What else up?
Dubby.
How you spell that?
Dubby.
Yeah, sounds right.
And if you're on their website, you know what you can do, Rob?
What can you do, dog?
You can use our code BRAMIGOSPOD for 10% off. Get you some dummy, get you some energy. See how you got to work that in there, right there, like that, right there,
Get that
right
in
there.
there. See, professionals. That's that professional.
Yeah,
Podcasting.
Yep.
See that thumbs up? That's called certified approved. All that. That's what that's called. And for the people that's listening digital, my screen just did a thumbs up. All right. Because in the thumbs up in your ear is you going to w.gg to get you some dubby, get you that energy, get you that dub.
Remember, code BRAMIGOSPOD get you 10% off your order.
Save you some money from us to you.
Yeah. So, with that being said, now we'll talk a little WWE and then give you guys some random stuff before we get up out of here. So, look, Rob, your boy, Jey Uso. Jey Uso showing you what you can get when you mean it. Go ahead and tell the people what that's about.
Yep. I mean, look, what I mean by that is essentially Jey Uso, because I've been saying that Jimmy Uso got more charisma, which I still do feel. But I think when it comes to raw emotion, Jey Uso, from the time that basically he was getting his ass whooped by his cousin Roman Reigns in Thunderdome to right now, present day, he has been showing raw emotion that you can't really, unless you really feel it, and unless you basically are into your character, into basically what you're doing, into the storyline, you can't break that. I mean, you can't basically mimic that. Because Jay, he's not polished. Like, and this is not a detriment. This has actually been his positive. Jey Uso is not a polished promo giver. He's not a polished wrestler. He's not a polished anything. And I think that's basically been helping him in getting the fans and getting people on his side. He was the reason why the bloodline, especially at the start, made its way to where you see what it is today, where Roman Reigns had like a, however many days it was, 3-year title reign. It was because of Jey Uso. He was the MVP and probably still is the MVP to that whole storyline. And as he basically is about to go against Gunther at WrestleMania, he basically is showing that raw emotion, and people feel that shit. Him not being able to come up with his words because he's just wrapped in everything that's basically been going on, and them basically giving him more time to kind of wrap up his words. And even though he'd be tired once he starts the promo, you feel that shit. And I think that it's a shining example to the boys and girls in the back. It's like, if you really feel this shit, because John Cena has been saying shit like this whole time. If you really feel this shit, the people are going to follow. If you don't, the people going to see it. And that's what everybody has to understand. It's not about creative giving you the best storyline. It's not about you basically having the best matches. It's about people feeling where you coming from. And if they can't do that, then you're going to basically not be as high as what you think you should be. And Jay, I'm thankful that you're basically doing that, because it's very much should be a shining example to everybody, both in the WWE locker room or just in pro wrestling, period. You feel it, they feel it, okay? But if you don't, if you don't, they won't. So always remember that shit, because he's showing what you can do when you really feel it.
Yeah. And you mentioned a guy that we have to talk about in WWE, John Cena, farewell tour. Yeah, they can't see us no more, Robbie. We won't get it. I think eventually he probably will end up on a Legends deal, or he may fade into the sunset, and not do too much. But farewell tour, John Cena's on his farewell tour, and I'm glad to say that I got to live and watch the entire Cena era from sun up, the sundown, ruthless aggression. Was here for the entire Attitude Era, but I feel like Attitude and Ruthless Aggression are probably the two best eras, in my opinion. It's going to be some guys out there, but Sonny, you weren't around for the Golden Age. I got you. I got you, Grandpa. I got you. But these are the two that I feel like that I wanted the most, and I feel like I love the most. Nothing against PG era or whatever you guys want to call it, the rebranding of this era right
The
now.
reality era.
Yeah, we'll call it the reality era. You know, it is what it is. But those two eras to me, with the stories that were told and the matches that were made and the characters and the people that were there, those are my favorite two. And to see John Cena do his farewell tour, me and you were talking about it, and you think that it's going to lead to him and Punk
At Mania.
At Mania? I can see that.
If not Mania, his last match. I think that's going to be. I can see Punk and Cena being his last match, because that was, to me, his best rivalry. You know, like it was the diametric opposites. It was corporate. I don't say face, corporate stooge versus the radical, you know, Rage Against the Machine in Punk. Yeah. And I think that, you know, I think they both really work well. I think Cena's best matches were with Punk, personally. I think he tried to show out for Punk. Punk tried to show out for him. And I think that both of them had great chemistry together. And I think that they're going to basically try to go out together. Or not Punk going out, but like Cena going out with Punk. But really what I overall hope, and I've been saying this from the jump, I hope that John Cena becomes the Roddy Piper of WWE. And here's what I mean by that. The tail end of Roddy Piper, when he came back to WWE towards the later end of his life, he would just come back and eviscerate the talent. And I know, like, y'all be like, nah, man, that shouldn't happen. He should be burying talent. What Cena did, especially when he just did with Theory, was just like, it was objective criticism. It was harsh objective criticism, but it was objective criticism nonetheless. And I think that when it comes to Cena, he can deliver that so well and so eloquently. And I think that that's really needed for the guys and girls that are coming up. My only thing would be that he needs to make it guys and girls. I think that he needs, and it's hard because it's this top guy versus this woman. And I know that power dynamics and everything like that could basically make that shit look weird. But some people need to hear that shit. And whether he basically does it to a Theory or somebody like that, and basically it reverberates out to the rest of the locker room, I feel like it needs to happen. He needs to be the guy that gives wake-up calls to the talent that's coming up. And it needs to basically be right there, maybe in front of us, maybe in the back, whatever. But he needs to be that guy to be like, see you, I see through you. What you think you are is not what you say you are. And you need to get closer to that, because that's what's going to help you become me being John Cena. And I think that that's what needs to be the prevailing thing of what he does. Now, as far as the farewell tour, he's going to have matches. I don't think he's going to win a world title, but I've been wrong so many times. As you can see, I'm not, as you can see, I never won a lottery. So I've been wrong a ton of times. But like, I think I don't see him winning it. I think he's going to stay where he's at, but I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him a title. And I mean, Cena versus Cody, I could see that. I actually would love that match, because I think Cena would help give Cody that extra bump up, even though I don't know if that is going to happen, you know, especially with Kevin and Sammy seeming like that's heading for WrestleMania. I can see it being like Cena versus Cody, but I don't think Cena's going to beat Cody, but I would love to see that build, even though I think Cena would basically, it would be on him to see how well that thing goes. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. I want to see what else they're going to do, though. Like, how many people they're going to basically fix Cena with, and like what kind of things Cena will do.
I could see that happening. Now, if WWE really wanted to shake it up, figure out how to get the belt on Cena and make Cody chase him through WrestleMania. I think that might work. That would be something a little different. But if you really want to be a part to this, give it to him. And Cody gets there to WrestleMania. Don't get a belt back to Cody right away. Because that would be the obvious thing to do, would be to drop it back to Cody. Don't give it to him. And then have Cena come out there. And then you might need to make Cody lobby for his rematch. And Cena maybe either give it up and lay it in the ring for him and tell him that he could have it on his way out the door. Or you tell him, if you want it, you take it off me right now in front of all of these people. And then you have a bang-ass main event for a Raw.
I mean, babyface is all about the chase. So it's like, I think, you might be onto something with that.
Now, WWE, if you steal my goddamn idea, me and Rob have always said this. We're willing to work it out for money or, all expense paid trips with tickets and hotel rooms and food accommodations,
Either
for us to
or,
see it.
both.
We work it out, we
Not
probably
picky.
both,
Not picky here.
Not picky here. Not picky at all. Just, to just work with me. I know I come up with some banger ass ideas on the fly, but they haven't offered me and Rob a job on WWE creative team yet,
Yet.
Yeah, yet. Because we do feel like we need to be there.
Like, look at us. Look at us. Or you can't see us, but look at us.
Yeah.
We're great.
Great. We're great at this. We're very, very, very good at this. Now, with that being said, Rob has 5 random rap songs that he would like to talk to you guys about love. Rob, go ahead and rattle those 5 off so we can go ahead and get up out of here for the people.
All right, y'all. Y'all see that, Valentine's Day was like, what, yesterday? Because we were recording on Saturday. It's the 15th. This, which happy National Side Chick Day, everyone.
Yep. For all the side chicks out there.
Be real. Stay about your peace. But I have 5 songs that I want to rattle off. My top 5 songs, or top 5 rap songs about love. All right. So number 5. Now, I know y'all going to be like, this is sacrilege, especially because you are a 314 representative. Emma by Nelly and kept featuring Kelly Rowland. Now, here's why I have it at 5. It's because I'm tired of the song. And it's really more because that summer that Nellyville came out, that motherfucking song was everywhere. Not Air Force Ones, not Pimp Juice. I mean, Hot in Here was around, but it was still like that song was every fucking where. And I got tired of it. Like, the only song that basically was more everywhere than that song in St. Louis was Over and Over. And that's because it was played on every single station. The country station, the rap station, the R&B station, the old school station, everywhere. It was, you literally can play 3 different stations in a row, and that shit was back to back to back on those stations. But I digress. That's why I have that at 5. Number 4, Only You by Gangsta Boo, featuring T-Rock. This is basically, I know what you're saying to yourself, people that have heard this song. Why? It's a song about basically Gangsta Boo wanting to kill her man and using T-Rock basically to do that. But the amount of love in between them and the amount of infatuation in between them is what I basically have, as far as the love between that. You can't deny it. You can't go over it. Can't go under it. You gotta go through it. And so that's why I basically have that in number 4. Number 3, I Miss That Whip by Anderson .Paak. If you heard how much he was infatuated with his ex-girlfriend's car, you would basically question love yourself and how much you love anything. Your peoples, your mate, anybody. You will basically not be able to be like, I can love as much as this person loved that car. He, for his soul, into I Miss That Whip. And I cannot basically go past that. He missed that whip. Number 2, Can You Stand the Game by Pastor Troy. Using basically the new edition, Can You Stand the Rain sample and everything like that. And basically talking about him being on the road, him having to do all this stuff. And basically, and his last name's gonna be Troy. Like, I think that's like the number 2 rap love song. At least that's what I have in mind. But number 1 is a song that a lot of people don't talk about, and I don't think a lot of people are aware of. And people are going to basically be like, really? With this one? Sugar by Webby. It is the best. I know a lot of the joke about this, basically, like, hey, he's bringing up all these songs about, this woman trying to kill her man and this dude talking about a car. Sugar by Webby is really objectively the best rap love song, like, that's ever been made. And you could basically play it at weddings. Like, it is a legit like song where basically Webby is talking about him and his relationship to his lady and basically all the things that they have gone through. And it really not even bad things. It's really more just like, man, I know I'm working. I know I'm doing a lot of this, but this is what I love. This is my love for you. This is basically everything. And now we basically have gotten to this point where we are together and we are doing this. Like, this is a good ass song that basically a lot of more people need to talk about. It's an early song for Webby. I can't remember what album it's on, but if you look up Sugar by Webby, I mean, it is straight up the best rap love song that I've ever heard. And so like that's my list about love. I'd love to hear what y'all got to say about my list. So like if you got something that you want to basically come up with that's better than my list, go ahead and hit us up on Bra Migos Pod, whether you on Blue Sky, Facebook, you know, all the socials, Instagram, basically hit us up and let us know. YouTube, let us know in the comments. What do you think is a better song than what I basically talked about? Add your list. What you got? Your top 5. Yep. We can battle top 5s. I ain't scared of none of y'all. Like I'm like Bernie Mac. I'm like Bernie Mac and Def Comedy Jam with this. Like it don't matter. So if you got something better, go ahead and point it out. Bring it up. Let's do this.
And you let us know at all of those socials, which will also be in the comments of our YouTube video. But with that being said, Rob, go ahead and take us about here.
Good night, Canada. Good night, Taylor Swift. Happy Valentine's Day. Happy President's Day to some of y'all. It's a day off. I was just saying, just go ahead, grill up, do whatever you want, like do it up for the day. But yeah, hope y'all good. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do all the good stuff that we basically do, and just follow us. We're everywhere. Look up in the sky. You might see us, right? So be that.
Yeah. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and get up out of here. You guys like, comment, subscribe, do all of that good stuff. Share this with your people. Tell your people about us, as we are people that you need to be in tune with. So with that being said, we out. Peace.
Thanks for checking out this episode of the Bra Migos podcast. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe so you never miss an episode.